can you get clean at camp with just a bottle of Nalgene water and clean your dishes too? Well, with this portable shower from Geyser, you can. Let's check it out. Hey everybody, it's Ben in Beta, and today I want to talk to you about this Geyser portable shower. This thing's pretty tiny, and it does a pretty darn good job of helping you stay clean while at camp if you're out for a multi-day journey. In the past, we have taken this Geyser shower with us, and you can see it's a little bit bigger and a little bit more cumbersome to take along. Now, it does hold a full gallon of water, and it does a really nice job of keeping everything warm, so you can have basically a full shower, but it is pretty big and a little bit cumbersome, so Geyser decided to come up with something a little bit different and a little smaller, and basically just take the pump out of a system like this and make it something you can use with a Nalgene bottle. That's pretty cool. I've already talked about this in some other videos, and I do like this. We've already talked about the Geyser shower system in another video, and I like this a lot. I should probably do a more in-depth review than I have, but it is a good system. If you're going for many days, you have a bunch of different people who have to take showers, that kind of stuff. This is a great system. But a lot of times we might not go for more than 2 or 3 days at a time, and you really don't need a shower every single day while you're at camp. I know some people might want that. And actually, this is something that can provide this as well, keeping you clean right before you go to bed or when you get up in the morning, however you want to take a shower. And this is just simply USB powered. So you can hook it up to pretty much any kind of a portable power station and have a shower. It's got a decent cable. And the basic premise here is you have water coming in and water going out, and it just is a pump. Really pretty nice and simple. It's also got a clip on it, which we'll talk about here in a second, like why would you use this? So with a system like this, it's not really meant to take a full shower from head to toe completely with your clothes off. It's really meant to be able to clean your head, your body, maybe your legs up, that kind of stuff before you crawl into bed. Something that gets you through for a couple days before you'd go to a hotel or you'd be done with your overlanding trip, that kind of thing. A lot of times we'll use these little wipes before we go to bed to try to get clean, and they do work pretty well. They get a lot of grime off, that kind of thing, but sometimes you just have a couple days of filth and you really want to get clean. And that's where something like this comes in. So you can get this as a kit, and this is what this one is. So it actually comes with its own carry bag, and all the accessories are inside here, which is pretty cool. And basically you get the pump itself, and you get the Nalgene bottle top, where you're gonna feed water from your Nalgene bottle. It's pretty nice and easy. You're gonna get your hose to be able to hook up to this, to be able to feed water. And then you're gonna have your shower hose tube. And then this has got a control valve on it as well, so that you can control the amount of water that's coming in or out of the system. Now at this end, you could just spurt water out the end if you want, but it actually comes with these sponges right here like this. So you actually attach this by putting it inside here and use this to clean yourself. And you put a little bit of soap on here, and these things suds like crazy. They're really, really good. You can see this is the one we used this last time, and you can see that's where this part fits in here to kind of stay in there, and then you just put a little bit of soap on here. Pretty nice and easy, but we'll show you that in a second. This kit also comes with its own battery pack, so this is what would be powering this system. We actually ended up using this battery pack from NewsMe Power. It's got a little bit more battery to it, a little bit bigger, that kind of thing, but we had this along, so this is what we used, but you can just use this. All right, so this last trip that we were out, we had planned on filming a little bit more with this at camp, but we did use it, and hopefully you can tell that it has been used. See, it's dirty. And we actually took full showers. Each of us used one of these Nalgene bottles to take a shower. We went completely naked and took the shower, but we didn't take any video of that. We were, one, trying to figure out how the system worked, and two, I don't want to get demonetized on YouTube, so we didn't film that. We had plans to do a little bit more at camp and show like maybe doing dishes, that kind of thing, or just kind of cleaning off your body, that kind of thing. But unfortunately the weather turned and we had to cut that trip short. So I'm going to show you how the system works today so you can see what that looks like. Also give you a few tips to kind of help you with how you might want to best use this product at camp. Also remember that these videos take a ton of time and effort to make, so please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, watch the whole video to make sure you know how this system works. That helps with the YouTube algorithm too. And I also have some links in the description if you want to try to pick one of these systems up. So at camp we used our stove to heat up the water and put about 3/4 of this full with hot water. and then a little bit of just regular water. So that way we had warm water coming out of the system, and it was plenty warm. So the night that we did this, it was really warm. It was like in the 60s. Still kind of cool to be outside and be without your clothes and wet, but not too bad. The system isn't really designed to take an entire shower. It's really just meant to kind of clean your upper body, maybe your legs off again before you get into the tent, so you feel nice and clean, you don't bring all the dirt in. The trick really comes in how you control the water, which we'll see here in just a second. So let's see how this thing works. You have the Nalgene bottle end, you stick your hose in here, and I just tried to make sure it was gonna go all the way to the bottom. Then you've got the in and out, so you wanna check out that water flow piece, so we're gonna stick this end in here. Now, the one other thing I would say about this system is it did often want to just kind of pull out of the tubes, and so we had some issues with that. See, it comes up pretty easy. So I wish there was some way to kind of a little bit better connect the tubes together and keep them in there. So that side's in. Then you have your black side here, and this is what you're going to connect to your sponge. The sponge is really what helps you save the water, because then you can turn the pump off, you can scrub yourself off good, turn the pump back on, and kind of use this to wash off after that, which works really well. So this side goes in here. So this one's already blown up, and you can see basically that's what it's gonna look like after you add some water to it. This little thing that initially looks like something that's gonna be kind of scratchy and not very soft, blows up into a full sponge, and it's really soft. So we're gonna use this one just to show you what it looks like. The cool part is the 3-pack of these comes in different colors. So each person can have their own color. So like Misty could have one color, I could have one color, and then we could have one for dishes so we don't accidentally wash our dishes with the wrong one. And then this tube just gets fed inside here, and you compress those to get that inside there as well. This is closed, so when I first start, it'll want to pump, but no water will come all the way through to the end. And then just to show you how well it actually does suds up, I'm gonna add a little bit of dish detergent, because this will be the one we use for washing dishes. All right, so I don't know if you can hear that, but it's pumping right now, but no water's coming through here yet because we haven't turned it on. So the key here with this is to not go fully on if you want to shower. So you just want to start to turn it on a little bit and get some water going through there. I can hear it going now. So there's a little bit of water coming through. And now you can see that this thing's kind of puffing up. And if I wanted to be able to wash dishes, once I get this wet like this, I can turn this back off. And I might even unplug it at this point. I wish it had a switch on here to turn it on and off. That would be nice too. But now you can see this is already wet, and I can get this in here and clean this dish up really nice and easy. And you can see how much that's sudsing as well. It's a ton of suds. And that's kind of what your body is. And you can see I put a little bit of dish detergent on, probably more than you need, but now it's quite sudsed up. And then if you turn it back on again and run more water through it, you can see that quite a bit comes out. So that's why you want to really control what you're doing with the water here. So I'm gonna turn that down again. And then if I needed to here at the end, I can pull this thing out and I could rinse. And I'm gonna turn this on just a little bit again at the end. You can see what kind of comes out. This is plenty of water to be able to rinse this dish without a problem. And we have some other ways we could rinse too, but this is using very, very little water, and we're good. So basically that's the Geyser system and kind of how it works. And yes, we use most of that to wash that one dish, but in that same amount of time, you can really quickly do your body. Once you've gotten this thing wet, you can get your body done really, really fast and then turn it back on. And that's the big key here, is to not just let it run the entire time, or you'll run out of water pretty quickly. The other thing is there are actually some bigger Nalgene bottles. This one's actually from Epic water filters, but this is a lot bigger, so you get more water out of that. The whole goal here is to try to use the least amount of water possible, obviously, but you could get a bigger bottle as well and be able to do a little bit longer shower. So that's kind of cool part about this one, is it's just run as long as your battery does or whatever, which is nice. So those are some tips on how to use it and basically how it works. If you have any questions, leave those in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, live your life in beta, and we'll see you next time.